Every human being, no matter where they live, no matter what culture they come from, has at some point asked, "What happens after death? Is this life everything? Or is there something more, something waiting for us when our time here ends?" The Quran calls our attention to this reality with a powerful and consistent reminder. There is a return. Not just the return of rain to dry earth, or the return of the sun after night, but the return of every soul to its origin. Indeed, to us is their return. Then indeed, upon us is their account. Surah Al-Ghashiyah, chapter 88, verses 25 to 26. This is the promise of return. Let's explore what it means for our lives, our purpose, and our destiny. All of us are aware of death. It is the one certainty that no science, no philosophy, no wealth can erase. And yet many struggle with what comes after. Some say life ends with nothingness. Others imagine cycles of rebirth. The Quran answers with clarity. How can you disbelieve in God, seeing that you were dead and He gave you life? Then He will cause you to die, then He will bring you to life again, and then to Him you will be returned. Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 28. This verse describes the human journey as a cycle: non-existence, life, death, resurrection, and return. It is not random. It is purposeful. The Quran constantly draws parallels between resurrection and the natural world. Perhaps the most vivid sign is rain. And of His signs is that you see the earth humbled, but when we send down upon it water, it stirs and swells. Indeed, He who gives it life is the giver of life to the dead. Indeed, He is over all things competent. Surah Fussilat, chapter 41, verse 39. Just as a barren desert blooms after rainfall, so too will lifeless bodies be brought back to life. The same power that revives soil can revive human beings. Even modern science confirms. Life on Earth depends entirely on cycles of renewal. Cells regenerate, ecosystems restore themselves, energy transforms but is never lost. Why then should human life be the only exception to this universal law of return? The Quran invites us to think logically about resurrection. Does man not remember that we created him before, while he was nothing? Surah Maryam, chapter 19, verse 67. If existence from nothing is possible, then surely existence after something is even easier. If the universe itself had a beginning, whether through the Big Bang, as scientists describe, or through divine command, then recreating a person after death is no greater a challenge. The laws of physics even support this. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Matter does not vanish. It changes state. If the very fabric of reality is built on transformation, why should life itself not return in a greater form? One of the deepest reasons for the promise of return is justice. We live in a world where good people sometimes suffer and evil people sometimes escape accountability. Is it reasonable to think this imbalance will never be corrected? The Quran answers. Then shall we treat those who submit as we treat the criminals? What is wrong with you? How do you judge? Surah Al-Kalam, chapter 68, verses 35-36. If there were no return, life would be unfair, meaningless. But with the promise of return, every act of kindness, every injustice, every hidden deed finds its true measure. The return is not only about life after death, it is about truth, balance, and ultimate fairness. Beyond logic and science, there is something deep within us that recognizes the promise of return. A voice that whispers when we are alone, reminding us that life cannot simply end with silence. The Quran speaks to this inner awareness, and they swear by God, their strongest oaths, that God will not resurrect the one who dies. Yes, it is a true promise upon him, but most of the people do not know. Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 38. Why do people deny? Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it is arrogance. Sometimes it is attachment to this world. But denial does not erase truth. Deep down, every heart feels the weight of return. The Quran paints vivid scenes of what this return looks like. When the sun is wrapped up, when the stars fall losing their luster, when the mountains are set in motion, when the seas are set ablaze, then every soul will know what it has brought forth. Surah At-Takwir, chapter 81, verses 1 to 14. These are not mere metaphors. They are reminders of cosmic reality. Just as stars are born and die, just as galaxies collapse and expand, so too will the world we know reach its appointed end. And in that moment, every soul will stand before the truth of its life. The promise of return is not meant to paralyze us with fear. It is meant to give life direction. If we know that our actions echo beyond death, then every choice matters. Kindness becomes eternal. Injustice is not forgotten. Sacrifice has meaning. Hope is never wasted. The Quran assures, "So whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it, and whoever does an atom's weight of evil will see it." Surah Az-Zalzala, chapter 99, verses 7 to 8. The smallest gesture, a smile, a word of comfort, a moment of patience, becomes part of our eternal record. Nothing is lost. Everything returns. The promise of return is not a myth or a legend. It is the most consistent truth woven into the fabric of existence. We see it in the cycles of nature, in the laws of science, in the yearning of the human heart, and in the revelation that calls us to reflect. Life is not random. Death is not the end. There is a return, and it is both a promise and a mercy. So the next time you see rain fall on dry land, or watch night give way to dawn, remember, you too are part of this great cycle. You came from the unseen. You live in the seen, and one day you will return.